All right, let's talk about the TOEFL writing section. For a lot of people, this is the most stressful part of the whole test. But what if you had like an insider's guide, a secret playbook that shows you exactly what the test wants and what the scorers are really looking for? Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We are going to crack this code.
So, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by looking at the two writing tasks you'll face. Then, we'll peek behind the curtain at how your essays are scored. After that, we're diving into the science of a high score, building a solid action plan for test day, and wrapping up with why these skills matter for life.
First up, let's get to know the arena. The TOEFL writing section isn't just one big essay. It's two very different challenges. And honestly, knowing exactly what you're up against is half the battle. So, the first challenge is meant to feel just like a real university class forum online. You get a question from a professor, you see what two other students think, and then it's your turn. Your job is to jump right into that conversation with your own point of view. When you break it down like this, it seems pretty straightforward, right? You read the question, read the two opinions, and then you state your own opinion and back it up. The catch? You've got to write at least 100 words, and you only have 10 minutes. So it's all about being clear, concise, and getting your point across fast. Okay, on to challenge number 2. This one is called Write an Email, and it's a super practical skill. They're going to put you in a situation that you will almost definitely face in real academic or professional life. And here's what that actually looks like on the screen. See over on the left? That's your scenario, with a few bullet points you absolutely have to include in your email. And on the right is where you type. You only get 7 minutes for this one. It's a real test of being efficient and making sure you hit all the required points with the right tone. So you've written yourself. Now what? What actually happens to it? Let's dive into the next part of our tour, a little peek inside the Rater's playbook to see what they're truly looking for. This is the magic number, a 5. It's the highest score you can get on each writing task. Getting a 5 means you've produced what ETS calls a fully successful response. Basically, you nailed it. Your ideas are clear, your language is on point. This is what we're aiming for. Okay, so let's put these side by side. A top score, a 5, is all about relevant and well-elaborated explanations. The language is varied, it's precise, you sound like you know what you're talking about. But a 3? Well, that's where the explanation might be missing, unclear, or irrelevant, and you start to see some noticeable errors. See the gap there? It's not just about avoiding big mistakes, it's about the depth and precision of your writing. So if you boil it all down, this is the key. To move up from an average score to a top score, you have to focus on these 3 things: how well you elaborate on your ideas, the quality of your vocabulary, and using different kinds of sentence structures. It's about actively showing off your skills. Now for the fun part. What if I told you that there's actual science, real academic research that has figured out the specific language patterns that high scorers use? Yep. Let's look at the data and get you that evidence-based edge. Check out this quote from a major study. It says, advanced writers use phrasal styles instead of clausal styles. What on earth does that mean? Well, think about it this way. Instead of writing like you talk, the professor said something and it was important, you write more academically, like the professor's main point was. See how that's more compact and sophisticated? That's the phrasal style. So how do you do that? One of the main tools is something called lexical bundles. They sound complicated, but they're not. They're just common forward phrases that are like the building blocks of academic writing. Let's call them academic power phrases. And here are some perfect examples. Phrases like in the reading passage or according to the professor are fantastic for connecting ideas. And for that discussion task, using things like as far as I am concerned or on the other hand instantly signals to the scorer, hey, I know how to build a formal argument. All right, the second secret weapon from the research is using strong collocations. These are just words that naturally go together. Words that just sound right to a native speaker. Like you say make a decision, not do a decision. Let's think of these as smart word partnerships. Here are some classic examples. You don't obtain good grades, you get good grades. You don't possess the ability, you have the ability. You take classes and you make a decision. Using these natural pairs is a really subtle but incredibly powerful way to show how proficient you are. So the research is crystal clear on this. The people who get the highest scores are the ones who naturally use more of these power phrases, the lexical bundles, and these smart partnerships, the collocations. The more you can weave them into your writing, the better you're going to sound.
Okay, we've gone through the tasks, the scoring system, and the science. So now what? Let's bundle it all up into a simple, step-by-step action plan you can actually use when the clock is ticking on test day. Here it is, your 6-step action plan. Step 1, just answer the question directly, no beating around the bush. Step 2, structure your ideas logically. Easy enough. Step 3, and this is a big one, elaborate with details. Remember what we saw in the scoring guide? That's crucial. Then, steps 4 and 5 are all about using those academic power phrases and smart word partnerships. You gotta weave those in. And finally, step 6, proofread. Always, always save a minute to catch any silly mistakes. This checklist, this is your path to a high score.
Before we wrap this up, I want to zoom out for a second, because learning all this stuff isn't just about getting a good TOEFL score. It's about building a skill that's going to help you for years and years. I mean, really think about it. Being able to form a clear argument, back it up with good evidence, use precise language, and organize your thoughts, those are the building blocks of powerful communication. So all this work you're putting in for the TOEFL, it's really an investment in your future self, as a student, a researcher, and a professional.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. After everything we've talked about today, from those power phrases to just structuring your ideas, what's the #1 writing skill you're going to practice this week? Just pick one thing and start there.